Have you ever met someone you genuinely liked and still kept looking? Not because they did anything wrong, not because there was no chemistry, not because you were not interested, but because a small part of you kept wondering, what if there's someone better? Another profile, another match, another possibility. And before you really explored one connection, your attention is already somewhere else. I think this is one of the biggest psychological shifts happening in modern dating. We have never had more options. Yet, many people have never felt more uncertain. And I think the real question is not, how do we find the right person? I think the real question is, what happens when endless possibilities make it difficult to choose anyone at all? Historically, most people met through work, friends, family, or their local community. The number of potential partners was naturally limited. Today, many people have access to hundreds or even thousands of profiles. And psychologically, that changes the experience of choosing. A client once said to me something that really stayed. I have not run out of people. I have run out of energy. And I think many people recognize that feeling. Because more options do not necessarily create more confidence. Sometimes they create more uncertainty. Most of us assume more choice should make us happier, more freedom, more opportunities, more chances of finding the right person. But psychologically, more choice can create something else. Doubt, because every decision means letting go of other possibilities. Another client once said to me, "What if I choose this person and miss someone better?" And that fear can become surprisingly powerful. Not because the person in front of you is wrong, but because alternatives remain visible. I don't think most people keep looking because nobody is good enough. I think many people keep looking because possibility never ends. One client told me the dates were good. The conversations were great, but I kept wondering if somebody better was one swipe away. Eventually, she realized something important. She wasn't evaluating the relationship. She was evaluating alternatives. And those are very different things. Because when we are focused on alternatives, we are no longer fully experiencing what is actually in front of us. At some point, many people stop asking, how do I feel with this person? And start asking, could somebody better exist? But those questions lead us in completely different directions. The first one creates connection. The second creates comparison. And comparisons has no natural ending because there will always be another profile, another possibility, another person to consider. People often think commitment feels scary because relationships are risky. But I think many people are struggling with something slightly different. The fear of closing other doors. Because choosing one person means letting go of countless other possibilities. And modern dating constantly reminds us those possibilities exist. A client once said to me, I wasn't afraid of commitment. I was afraid of choosing wrong. And I suspect many people quietly carry the same fear. Healthy choosing doesn't mean settling. It does not mean ignoring problems. And it certainly doesn't mean convincing yourself that someone is perfect. Healthy choosing means recognizing when a connection deserves enough attention to develop. Because relationships don't become meaningful through comparison. They become meaningful through investment. Most people don't discover a relationship's potential by constantly evaluating alternatives. They discover it by being present enough to experience what's actually there. If modern dating has ever left you feeling overwhelmed, uncertain, or exhausted, you are not alone. We have never had more access to each other. Yet, many people have never felt more unsure about relationships. Because sometimes the challenge isn't finding somebody. Sometimes the challenge is deciding when to stop looking. And perhaps that's the question worth reflecting on. At what point does looking for the right person become an inability to choose? Because relationships do not grow through endless possibilities. They grow through attention, investment, curiosity, and eventually a decision. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And if you are interested in modern dating psychology, attachment styles, relationship dynamics, and emotional well-being, subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.